Hello, and my name is Pete Rushmer, and I'm your host today of A Half Dozen Things podcast. A Half Dozen Things is a podcast for business owners just like you. Whether you're an underdog hungry for success, or you're already smashing it but want to continue to level up, we are here each week for you to get insight and learning from the very best in the business. No fluff, no BS, and no self-proclaimed gurus talking about how easy business or life is.
So the red light's rolling, and I'm joined today by Mr. Vickers, the training guy. Look at us flashing off our new headlines on StreamYard. What do you reckon, mate?
I love it. Yeah, the ability to edit our names there. And I saw Pete's come out, the founder, and I thought, what am I going to be then? Where do I fit in all this? Oh, the training guy. Yeah,
I don't know whether I need a better name, to be fair, but
I think that's good. I like that. Yeah, I do. Right, it's great.
Cool. I should have like General Dog's Body, or I don't know, Chief Dolphin Trainer or something like that. That's one of Pete White's favourites. How's things been, mate? All right, it's been a little while since you've been on the Half Dozen Things podcast. How's things?
All very busy. Very busy with delivering transport manager training. We've had a success. Well, I say successful. We haven't had the results yet, but we've had another really good session at our headquarters. We had some great people on that course. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Brilliant. I'm now out and about on the road again, delivering transport manager training. So I'm in the middle of week 2 of the first of 2 courses, if that makes sense. So for the next 5 weeks, I'll be all transport managering.
Mate, back to back. Do you want to just check? Do you want to just check your mic set up correctly? You sounded potentially a little bit echoey, but it's hard to tell on the app here, Mike. So just have a little look at that, and I'm gonna talk for a minute. So thank you, listeners, for joining us. Mike's obviously a busy guy at the minute. I wanted to get him on the podcast to talk about what our New Year's resolutions were and how we're getting on, because we're about 6 weeks from January, and I know that Mike's been on a bit of a journey, as have I. And some of you may think we look like a shadow of our former selves if you've seen us before on YouTube. So I wanted to just check in with Mike, because I saw him the other day and he literally looked like he was wasting away in front of me. So I know we've both been quite strict on the old diets and exercise as well. So I wanted to just sort of check in and sort of see how that was going. I know there's been a lot of changes for me. I've been busy. I've signed up to like an online coaching program, which has been really, really good. And I've really enjoyed it. Shout out to Dave Jones, because I just think he's done a fantastic job. He sort of set me a training program and sort of coached me on my calories. I'm down to like 1,900 calories a day at the moment, which is pretty tricky for me, because I am a bit of a fatty. And obviously I know you'd had some really good results as well. Did you need to change the mic setting, Mike, or was it all right?
Is that any better? Is that?
It sounds good to me, mate. Sounds good to me. Mike and his mic are all sorted.
Yeah, the mic guy. Yeah, no, I think I had it turned. I think somehow had the volume turned down on it. But no, that's really interesting. Actually, it's on the back of a. It was on the back of a Half Dozen Things. I think you did. I can't remember if it was a live one or whatever. But we talked about New Year's resolutions, and only 16% of New Year's resolutions work. So it was on the kind of back of that, really, that I decided to prove. I'm going to prove to Pete that I'm one of the 16% that it does work.
Which is interesting, because we're both proving that, mate, to be fair.
Reverse psychology going on there, I think, wasn't there?
Maybe a little bit. I must say my head's very shiny in this office. I'm not a big fan of how shiny my head is. But anyway, it's the old panel LED stuff, isn't it? But anyway, right. So tell me, what have you been up to, mate? What have you been doing, and how's it worked for you? What was your New Year's resolution, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll cast you back, if I may. I'll cast you back to a period of time if we want to go back as far as 2008 or slightly before 2008. I'd sort of, by that time, I'd finished doing any sort of sports or anything like on an organised level. I was getting on a bit by that time, and I did something really, really crazy. I trained for and ran a marathon, and I have to say, I mean, you know, I know my kids probably won't listen to this and podcast. I'm quite safe in saying it. Running the marathon and completing it was probably one of the best days of my entire life. It was an amazing experience. I did it up in Edinburgh, and it was just an amazing experience. And I vowed, that was in 2008, I vowed that one day I would be back to do it again. And I never did. You know, I ended up moving jobs and various other things going on in life as it happens. I've never really got back into the groove of running. And at one point I would have, you know, not been able to get through a day without running. You know, it was that I was addicted. You could say it was, and I think it's the endorphins that release in your brain and all the rest of it that gets you addicted to it. But anyway, I ended up putting a lot of weight on, and I did manage to shift some. I used to do a little bit of biking, cycling. I did manage to shift some, but I've ended up getting into some really, really bad habits. So when it came to eating, and particularly being out on the road. You go into a fuel station, you fill up with fuel, and the Mars bars and packets of crisps are just sort of looking at you and saying, "You really do need me," and it's very, very difficult to turn that down. So, having ballooned my weight to the biggest I've ever been, I thought it's about time I did something about it. So, up until last week, without any exercise, I haven't started any form of really serious gym or exercise or even running because it's too dark still out on the roads to do road running, and I'm embarrassed, to be honest. And I think that's something that people, you know, I live in the middle of nowhere and I'm embarrassed to run up and down the road in case somebody sees me. So, you know, I do plan to do some work in the garage. I've got a treadmill. Haven't done as yet until last week. I happened to be staying at a hotel that had a gym, so the exercise has only just come into it, but I've just hit a stone. So I've lost a stone since basically.
Mate, that's incredible. Yeah, that's incredible, mate. That's really good. Really, really good. What's the target? What are you aiming for?
Well, on the holiday in July, so I kind of got it in my head that I would lose at least 2 stone by the holiday in July, which, to be honest, I'm going to be on track on now. So I brought that forward to somewhere in the middle of April. I'd aim to do 2 stone by the middle of April. So,
no, good for you, mate. So I started off. I was 115 kilos. I weighed in at the beginning of January, which is
what's that in real money?
I think give or take, it's about 17 stone. Yeah. So, and I'm only 5'10", so I'm not the tallest. 17 stone in kilos. 17 stone is 108 kilos. So I'm actually even more. I was maybe even 18 stone. Let's just better check that. 18 stone in kilos, 114 kilos. There we go. So I was 18 stone. And I want to get down to 100 kilos, which is 100 kg. It's probably, I think, around 15 and a half stone. I'd like to be about 15 stone, I think, by the end of the year. Anyway, all this different change in money and variations. Anyway, but yeah, I've managed to shift 6 kilos, which is 6 kilos. I don't think it's quite a stone. I don't think I've done quite as much.
That's part of, isn't it? Yeah,
6 kg in stone, 0.95 of a stone.
Being a
shift.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? Yeah, being a trainer, I've always got a little rhyme for that sort of stuff, and it's 2¼ pounds of jam equals 1 kilogram. So, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Never miss an opportunity in the training world, do we? To get a little rhyme in like that.
No, mate, got to.
Plenty more where that came from.
Do you know what? I found it really difficult though, cutting down the calories, because I love eating. So I'm kind of the opposite. I love eating, but I love training as well. So I've trained really hard, and I've continued to train hard in January. Although my trainer, Dave, has had me doing 2 leg sessions a week, which I would normally skip leg day, full stop. So I'd be lucky if I got 1 a week, if not one a month. And I'd often train upper body rather than my legs. But yeah, I've been doing 2 leg sessions a week, which I think is supposed to be good for ongoing burning of calories. And I've been training away in the gym, and I've sort of cut down from 2,300 calories. I think I started out at, and I'm down to like 1,900 calories at the minute. And it makes you, I tell you what, it makes you make some good choices. I've not been perfect by any stretch. I've not been perfect. I have had days. I went to do an audit on Friday at customers, and he'd bought jam donuts just for the day. And I was like,
can't say no, can you? Yeah.
And I knew, well, the issue I had was I knew I was going out Friday night. I knew I was going out for dinner on Friday night. So I knew I wanted to keep aside. So we'd pre-ordered as well. So I knew I'd ordered 1,100 calories of food for Friday night. So I knew I only had a few. And he was insistent I had a donut. So that was 245 calories on Friday that I really didn't need for this Tesco jam donut. But yeah, so some of the things that I've used to help, I just sort of what it's for. I've discovered an app called NutriCheck.
NutriCheck. Do you know what? We didn't compare notes before that we started doing this. And it's exactly what I use. Yeah.
Has it? Right, well, there you go. So, I was going to say, we've just done this on the hoof.
Yeah.
NutriCheck is what I've been using. I had for years and years been using MyFitnessPal when I was sort of going through fits and spurts of doing stuff. But I found that it was quite Americanized. So there's a big recommendation from me. NutriCheck, I think, was like 25, 30 quid for the year. Yeah. But it's very UK based, and it has everything in there, everything you normally eat, or you can even scan barcodes, can't you? If you're eating fast and stuff, you can actually scan the barcodes.
Do it all the time. It's dead easy. I mean, I'm a technophobe, and it's dead easy for me to keep a track of my calories using the barcode scanner. And as you say, it's not Americanified. So whatever we call food, if you can't find the barcode, whatever we call food, if you just type it in there, it comes up with it.
Hi, it's Pete from Flagship Partners. We're proud to sponsor a Half Dozen Things podcast. Flagship Partners help their clients become safer, greener, and greater through a range of consultancy and training services. We offer audits through to risk assessments, contracts through to support with managing your culture, all the way from mandatory training through to management training as well. So if you need any support, please do get in touch with Flagship Partners today.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I've also got my other new treat that I treated myself. I've got this Aura ring that I've bought, which basically tells me how I sleep and how my readiness is each day, rather than my ready break. It tells me my readiness. So basically what it does is it sits on your finger and it can measure all the oxygen in my blood, how much oxygen's in my blood. It measures my sleep really accurately. So I got fed up of wearing a smartwatch, which tracked all of my steps and all my activity and everything like that, because I prefer to wear a proper watch. It's a smart ring. The smart ring is the new thing, and I've really found it very interesting. So one of my friends has got one as well, and we're regularly screenshotting and WhatsApping each other our sleep data from the previous day. But it starts off, so it measures your sleep. So today I'm on 76, which is good for my sleep rating. I had 6 hours 21 of sleep last night, which is red. Everything else was pretty good apart from my REM sleep, 36 minutes apparently. I only got 36 minutes of REM sleep, but I did get nearly 3 hours of deep sleep, apparently. And then, my readiness today is 76 because I've not been getting enough sleep recently. So I've been trying to prioritize that. And it gives me, I don't even know what my HRV reading means. HRV reading, I need to look that up. HRV reading.
Heart rate, something I would imagine, wouldn't it? Heart rates. Okay.
Heart rate variability.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Highly sensitive metric.
Yeah, between top and bottoms of your scale, the idea is you keep it,
keep it tight, basically.
Tight,
Although I was training in the gym this morning, and I think I trained a bit too hard because I started feeling a bit lightheaded this morning. I've not had anything to eat or prepare or anything, but it was. I think I'd properly gone for it and pushed myself quite hard. 50 to 100 signal compromised health, and above 100 are healthy. A higher HRV correlates with better health, resilience, and increased fitness. There we go. It's been really interesting actually. The ring's been revolutionary for me.
But it doesn't look like it. So it connects. Obviously, it's connected to an app or something, is it? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, basically. Yeah, so like inside the ring, I don't know if you can see on the cameras, but inside it's black and it's got like all like these chip and data and everything like that inside the ring, which is like reading obviously your heart rate and everything through the pulse through your finger, and it can tell when you've fallen asleep. And yeah, so I think one of the things I've realised is that I've always tried to out-exercise a poor lifestyle, I suppose. So I've always exercised because I enjoy doing it. And I've probably not eaten as well as I could have done and probably not slept as well as I could have done. And now I'm trying to find a bit of a balance. I guess that sounds a little bit like, I always struggle with when people talk about wellness, I often struggle a little bit with that stuff. But one of the things that I do pick up now that I'm looking and monitoring my sleep a lot more, I do notice how my productivity varies based on the level, how much my sleep does affect it. Because unless you know or look at it, you don't really realise. And there's oftentimes, if I've had a poor night's sleep, the thing will flash off at me, the app will flash off at me, telling me you've not had enough sleep. You need to take it easy today. And that's actually quite a hard thing. And I think a lot of people will sort of laugh and go, "Oh, Pete always takes it easy anyway. It's not really a thing." But actually, in reality, I don't. I probably push myself too hard. And certainly with a fear of burnout over the past probably couple of years, I would have thought that if when you sort of teeter on the edge of potential burnout because you're working so hard all the time and you're sort of always on, particularly in my role. I was telling Mike earlier today, for the listeners, we're recording this on a Monday, but on Saturday I'd been out doing sort of parental duties, 1-2 in the morning. My 17-year-old daughter needed picking up from a party, and then that morning at 5 to 7 I had a customer on the phone asking where his driver CPC trainer was for the day, and my phone is basically, because of what I do, it is pretty much you get drivers ringing at all times of the day, customers ringing at any time of the day. There's very little real respect for personal time, I think, generally speaking, in the sector we're in. And finding a way to prioritize sleep and diet and exercise is really, I think probably there's people listening going, I need to do something about that. But I imagine there's people who probably aren't doing all three or any of the three.
Just surviving, just really surviving without any plan. But you're dead right there, Pete, about the balance and exercise. I can't. Once upon a time, I would have been able to exercise my way out of a bad lifestyle but as you get older, and I'm sort of getting on a bit now. I can't do that because my knees and all the rest of it. I've got no problem. I don't have any issues with them as such, but your kind of body physically doesn't want to be, getting up and doing a 5, 6, 7 mile run, because the recovery time is so great. So what I've purposely stayed away from exercise. I've purposely tried to manage it with diet rather than exercise. Now I'm going to introduce a little bit of exercise in. I'm going to do a bit of walking. I do a fair bit of walking, of course. And also, I guess a lot of trainers like this, but I'm a trainer. I'm always on my feet. I don't sit down. I mean, I couldn't dream of a trainer sitting down and doing a class. I am literally on my feet and I walk around and so I do a fair few steps a day anyway. I've always done that, but yeah, you're right. No, you try to manage out of poor lifestyle choices with exercise, and that's okay when you're a little bit younger. But as you get on, you can't do that. You can't, I think, sort of burning the candle from both ends, as it were, in terms of exercise and food. So, Dad, with me, one of the key things I found, one of the things is not to eat beyond 6 o'clock in the evening. That's been a game changer. That has for me, not to eat beyond 6 o'clock in the evening. So I always make sure I have breakfast, a good breakfast, and normally it's cereal, and if I'm staying away again, staying away in hotels quite a bit, there's the temptation to have that full English every morning. But no, I will alternate it. I'll have scrambled egg maybe one morning, and then the next morning I'll just have the continental breakfast. But making eating beyond 6 o'clock. I don't eat beyond 6 o'clock. It's been a game changer for me. It really has. They have a good breakfast, but be sensible, and then eat little and often through the day. Not often really. Eat little through the day. More fruit, I try to do that, what you're doing now, drinking, Pete's swigging a drink. I've desperately tried to drink more water and I just can't get round to it. It's just not something that's really sticking with me, drinking water. Something I've never done. And in fact, when I was training for the marathon, people gave you some advice on drinking, on hydration. They're always giving you advice. When I was training, I never drank during a run. Never. And I attempted it for the very first time during the marathon. And I wish I hadn't done, because I almost choked. I almost keeled over choking.
There is a skill, mate, drinking water whilst you're running. Yeah. There is a knack to that, mate.
There is a knack, and if you've never practiced it, it's terrible. I was really, really going great guns, and in fact, I did the half. I just got through the half at 2 hours and 8 minutes, which was lightning pace, because even then I wasn't like, I've never been small. I'm not really built for.
I tell you what, mate, that's some going. That's some going, mate. That is. And well done.
I saw the water station, and I thought, I better give it a go. And I took the sort of what do you call it, the orange type juicy stuff, and I took a swig, and then Lucas said, yeah. At the next minute, it was coming out my nose, and I was choking. But yeah, no, we got round it in the end. And I did slow down for the second half. Maybe I went across a bit too quick, but I'll always blame that Lucasade for putting me out of time. 5 hours and 8 minutes I did. So the second half took me 3 hours, whereas first half only took me 2 hours and 8 minutes.
Mate, that's still a solid time. That's better than so I've done it twice, and neither of the times did I do as quick as that. So I was 5.5 first time.
Well, I worked out that you could do it in roughly 5 hours by running all the way, not having a sort of breather or anything, which I kind of managed to just about do, to be fair. But it's very inspirational, very inspirational. I did a couple of other, I've done several other 10Ks, the Great South Run, which is a really good, that's obviously in Portsmouth, so on familiar territory down in Portsmouth. And I've done a few of those, but they are brilliant. The people that do them are amazing.
Absolutely, man. No, fantastic. Well, I hope the listeners have enjoyed listening into our update on our New Year's resolutions. And I'm hoping that they've managed to stick to theirs if they've made them as well. But yeah, drop us a line. What resolutions have you made? Are you on with it? Are you part of the 16%? Are you part of the elite?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if New Year's resolution's one thing, but we're just coming up to a period of time. It's Pancake Day soon, isn't it? So a lot of people, whether you're religious or not, or whether you follow the church calendar or not, is immaterial. But quite often Lent, I used to have these sporadic efforts through Lent to try to kickstart a regime, but
it's a good time to give something up, isn't it? It's a good time to give something up for sure.
And if you look at it, it's 40 days. So if you think, well, I'll tell you what, for 40 days I'm going to give up chocolate and crisps or drinking, whatever it might be, then it gives you something to kind of aim at. I always thought that was a good reason.
And this will go out just in time for that. So maybe there you go. Time to start thinking about Lent. Mike, you've been a star. I hope the listeners have found this interesting. And we'll see you on the next podcast. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
I really hope you loved today's episode. And if you did, please make sure you subscribe and listen out for future episodes too. Please do share it across your social media channels. We hope to reach more and help more people. If you want to find out more about me, my name's Pete Rushmer. You'll find me across any social media channel and my business, Flagship Partners, and we're your partners in success across your business. Thank you. See you again soon.